Happy New Year's Eve! It's Stephanie from Book Blurbs and Blahs. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about books, blurbs, and sometimes I talk about blahs. So today I'm going to do a new Booktuber tag. I haven't done one before. It's probably about time I did one. I started my channel back in late 2018. Ran it through to about March 2019 and then did nothing with it. And then I restarted it back in late 2020, probably a month ago, and hopefully I'm going to be more consistent this time and able to stick with it. So there are 9 questions to work through, and I will work through each one of them and try my best to answer them all. I have my laptop with me for the questions and I have my notes down here, so just bear with me, I might be looking at them occasionally. Okay, tag questions. Number 1. Why did you start your Booktube channel? I enjoy reading books. I also like to meet with other people who like books. I love watching other booktubers. I like watching what they recommend, what they don't like about books and what they do like about books, and I like to see not just the general consensus of what everybody else is reading, because there's a lot of booktubers who seem to read the same thing, which I think is fine because they get to connect with one another, but there's also some that are focused on classic books that come recommended that I've never heard of before, so I quite like watching those videos, and the ones that are just random that I've never heard of before. So I like to get an all-round feel for what's going on in the booktube world, whether it's the popular books that are out there, or the new ones, or the fantasy, or the sci-fi, and then looking at the ones who are reading the less common books, which I seem to enjoy as well. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I think everybody has pretty much done everything they can do on Booktube, so the only thing I can really bring is my personality. What that looks like for everybody, I guess it depends on what you like in terms of personality is what you're going to be drawn to. So hopefully you like what I do. You might not like what I do, you might find me boring, you might find me funny, but at the beginning you might find me a bit stale. So just give me some time until I get used to being in front of the camera, because I gotta say, it doesn't come naturally to me being in front of the camera ever. I don't think there's many photos of me as a kid because I just don't like being in front of the camera. So this is all quite new, a bit of a uncomfortable situation for me, but we'll get there, and I think once I start relaxing, more of my personality will shine through. I will also bring my bad editing skills with me. I will also bring my bad lighting skills once I have got my lighting rig set up, which is gathering dust in the basement at the moment. I haven't been down there, there's lots of cobwebs down there, I'm not interested in going down there right now, so that's probably something I will get my husband to do. So once I've got all that rigging set up, I think the lighting will be a bit better. Still practicing on the sound. I don't know why my sound device microphone isn't working as it should be. It still sounds a bit echoey. It could be the room. I live in a house with very high ceilings, so the acoustics in this room isn't great. But anyway, we will get there. Oh, and if you don't mind, I do like slurping my tea, so you may find that I occasionally slurp on camera as well. Question number 3. What are you most excited about for the new channel? I think mostly discovering new books, actually researching the new up and coming books for the new year, and also discovering some old ones, and actually when we can go back to proper shops in the one-to-one personal environment where I can go and explore and discover new books. That's what I'm looking forward to. So I think I will try and bring the camera with me when I go and do some book shopping, but again, I'm a little bit camera shy. I know some people don't like cameras in their shops, so we'll see what happens, and we'll give it time, but I'm not going to actually go book shopping right now. I think most of my shopping is going to be done online. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? It's escapism. That's all I can say. I love reading historical fiction. I love reading magical fantasy books. I love to escape inside a book. It just brings me into my head. I can imagine what these places and spaces look like. So yeah, that's probably it. It's escapism. And it's also getting away from a screen. I do watch a lot of TV and I like to get away from the screen. So, and this is one way for me to get away. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? So I don't really tend to read series just because I haven't come across very many that I like. I have found one that I like recently, which I have mentioned in another video, but I will re-mention again later on in the year because I've still got the 3rd book out of the 4 to read. But mostly there's 3 books that really come to mind, and it's The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. As a kid, absolutely adore that story, love it. So magical. I love that they go through a wardrobe and then it's snowy and it's magical, and you meet all these different characters that are not human, you know, all the words that they use. Mr. Tumnus is adorable. So yeah, that's one of my favourite books out there. The second one is Black Beauty. Absolutely love Black Beauty. I was horse mad as a kid, still a little bit horse mad, not like I used to be. But that was a book that brought me to tears, so that was a great one. And the other one is Goodnight Mr. Tom by Michelle Megorian. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And she used to frequent the bookshop that I used to go to when I lived in Hampshire in England. And on the day that I left to go to Canada, the Goodnight Mr. Tom theatre production was going to play, and of course I couldn't see it because I was going to be on a flight. I was really, really upset about it. I would have liked to have met her and maybe even got a book signed by her. But yes, it would have. It's a great story, and again, it's based in the World War II period, and I really like that period of time. Question number 6. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? For me, it's going to be scheduling, no doubt about it. I'm not very consistent, and I need to be more consistent with my channel. If I actually do a video, it's probably going to be published on the same day, or it could be published on a week later. So I need to get my time and schedule right so that I can be more consistent, and I think I'll probably gain more viewers doing it that way. Not that this channel is about gaining more viewers, but it would be nice to meet a community of people who want to discuss books, and so therefore I need to get myself out there a little bit more. Number 7, when did you start reading? So of course you go to school and you start reading from a very young age. My passion didn't really start until I was probably about age 10, and I was a little bit behind with my reading as a kid. So my teacher spoke to my parents, and she encouraged them to make me sit down with them and read a book every day. So my mum bought me a copy of Shadow by Enid Blyton. It's one of her lesser known books, and because I loved animals, dogs and horses, it was perfect introduction for me to start reading chapter books and get more into chapter books. And I do remember that story. I absolutely love that story, and I'm so sad that I didn't keep that book, because that book is really hard to find now. So Shadow and Enid Blyton were the books that really got me started. Number 8, where do I read? Usually on a comfy sofa in front of the fire in a room that's got a lot of lighting. As you can see, I wear glasses, and as my optometrist keeps telling me, now I've reached a certain age, you're going to notice your eyes deteriorate more and more. And I have, and it's cruel, particularly as a reader. So I have to have as much light as I can possibly to have, so I can read the books. I do have reading glasses, when my eyes start to get tired. So yeah, so it's got to be in a light room on a comfy sofa. We do have a space where there's no TV, and it's just got all of our books in there, which is really nice, and it is by the fireplace, so that's where I do most of my reading. And sometimes I read in bed or just before I go to bed, because actually reading makes me really sleepy, so I kind of try and read just before bed because it relaxes me as well. And number 9, which looks like it's going to be the last question: what kind of books do you like to read? I absolutely love historical fiction, particularly if it's around the 1940s, 1950s period, around the World War II period. Really like those sort of books. Also like books where it dips into different time periods. Kate Morton does that spectacularly well. I think it was A Clockmaker's Daughter. That I absolutely loved that book. Couldn't put it down. You really had to think about what you were doing. It wasn't one of those books where you could just sit down, read it, and then leave it for a couple of weeks and get back to it, or else you just forget what was going on. So really like those sorts of books, quite intense. So I would say those are my favourite. I do enjoy some children's literature. Classics for sure, absolutely. I've started getting more and more into classics. This is one of the reasons why I started picking up reading again. Getting into Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, the Bronte sisters. Love the Bronte sisters books. Did mention that in a video previously that I liked Charlotte. Love Emily's writing, particularly Jane Eyre. So I'm getting more into the Bronte sisters. H.G. Wells, A Time Machine, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The first time I read that I was like, so yeah, love classics, historical fiction, some children's literature, and any new authors that are coming out. Recently read The Binding by Bridget Collins, which is a different book, and the premise of the whole story was great, so won't review that here because I have already read it. And The Mercies. Now, she's not necessarily a new author, but she's just started going into the adult realm of writing, so I think she is an interesting writer as well. So I want to mention a few people who have done this tag. Some of them have been on here for weeks, months, maybe even a year, but I'm going to put their links into the description box below as well so that you know. But I'm going to tag Critiquing Reads, Reading Between the Lines, Keely Books, and Fictional Reality. Those are the tags of the new people that are on Booktube, and I hope you enjoy them, and please go and check them out and subscribe. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like, and I hope to see you again soon.